First available from Baro, it's about time they give Baro some prime love. The Axi M5 Relic, which holds the parts for the Magnus Prime. Confirmed without actually having to crack one of these relics open. The Magnus will require 2 built Magnus and the Magnus link to be able to build them. Once it is of course complete, you can come in and go Magnus, which is still weird to me. It brings up the dual one, but never mind. Select the weapons you want to put in there, and then it for some reason just tries to start. No, I don't want to build it. I was trying to say you can use your other Magnus if you want to, but I wanted to build 2 different ones so I can keep the one that has 4 former in it and just use these 2 and then set it off to build. It will, however, take 12 hours. Unless you're really impatient. I'm not that impatient. Simply because if you're going to rush the 2 that go into it, you don't need to rush the actual weapon. You don't need to rush any of it. It's a day and a half. Simply down to the fact you can't build 2 things at once. But there it is, and the first thing you're going to want to do to this is put a catalyst in it. What is the main difference between the 2? Ooh, a little bit higher fire rate. Not a lot, but it's still higher. Quicker reload. That is, of course, important because, well, there's 2 of them and they tend to take a long time to reload. Not dual-wielding Lex style long, though. The crit has gone up by 8.3%. There's an extra 0.8 for the crit multiplier. And status has also gone up. But puncture, slash, and impact are exactly the same, meaning they both, the normal and the primes, do the same damage. Which, before anybody asks, is the same stats that the normal single Magnus Prime has. And unlike the normal dual-wielding Magnus that comes with not 1 single polarity on it, this has 2, which is kind of great. But one of them is the dreaded D-polarity. And as I put my second former on this and realise I'm probably leaving it there. I may add another V at a later date, but for now, probably leaving it there simply because can now fit Auger Pact in. Which, if we put over there, would be Auger Pact, Hornet Strike, damage of 90%, plus 220%, plus 300%. Yeah, okay, I take it back. That D-polarity on this weapon, not completely useless. If we take that 1 mod off, it's 1,856 damage, and you instantly think, is that it? And then you put that mod in, and it goes to 3,214.6 total damage. And the only difference between A and B here is 300% damage and 1.5 punch through. Or we can go with about 1 point something thousand damage, 10 on a crit hit. Oh, and he's gone. To about this. Oh no, wait, 3,000s with 20 something thousand as a crit hit. Yeah, 14,000, 16,000. Yeah, pretty much says it all, to be fair. What I like more than anything else is the ammo efficiency side of this. When it works, 32,000. And that's ignoring that some of the weaker enemies will in fact go down quicker, hence I was concentrating on the Grenier side of this. Corrupted or normal, doesn't matter, still technically Grenier. Because has corrosive on it. Yeah. That's still 13,000 a hit. Oh, and it does crit more. Yeah. That is also a constant yellow crit. It doesn't white number, which is non-crit, that often. Once you actually do put the semi-pistol carronade mod in there, it does change the damage by quite a lot. This mod is going to be essential for this. It does drop from a MOA. You can find it in the codex, if I don't throw the footage in here for it, that is, because I did go and look to where it actually drops from. There will be a lot of comparing this to the dual-wielding Lex Primes, and all I'm going to say is, unlike the dual-wielding Lex Primes, the dual-wielding Magnus Primes have a unique trait called Chamber Cascade. Hits have a 4% chance to grant 100% ammo efficiency for 4 seconds. I want to say this is a great little trait for these things, but let's not sugarcoat it. 4% chance to grant 100% ammo efficiency for 4 seconds. 4% is not exactly huge, though you will notice it when it kicks in because you will just continuously fire. It's 4 seconds of free bolts. It will not use any ammo because 100% efficiency is basically free ammo. And when it does kick in, these things become so much better. Without the semi-pistol cannonade in there, these things are still really good. The fact that one mod actually locks the fire rate isn't the end of the world. It just means your lethal torrent will not work in here at all. It's pointless trying to put it in there. None of them do, so Wisp will fix that problem fairly quickly, to be clear. They can say lock it as much as they want. Though that said, now I'm thinking about it, played with... no, that did increase the fire rate. I was playing with a Wisp and ran through a circle and the fire rate did in fact go up. That may have been a bug because it's not supposed to. It's supposed to lock the fire rate of the weapon, hence the little padlock next to the fire rate for the actual stats of it. So that could have just been a bug. Don't quote me on that one. But just the power that is behind these things is it. I'm not going to use that word. I like the normal Magnus. I liked the dual-wielding Magnus even more. You could say twice as much. The single Magnus, I'd still take my dual-wielding over it every day of the week because it's 2, so it's quite literally twice the damage and twice the ammo because you've got to empty 2 magazines instead of 1. Now we have a dual-wielding Magnus Prime. Could not be happier. Not only that, it works really well. It's fairly efficient. It has ammo efficiency on it. Yes, it may be a small factor to kick in, but when it does, you will notice it a lot. There are mods for weapons like this that add 300% damage onto them, making them worth having as a really good secondary. I would say the only problem with these is the Exilus slot as a V polarity, which basically is accuracy on hit and travel time for your projectiles. This doesn't really have that. The increased accuracy does help a lot, but if you're going to put a third former in this, I would say you're going to need 4. Another V for primed pistol gambit, because pistol gambit, target cracker, gonna be a must. Even though this isn't over 100% crit chance, still orange hits pretty much constantly. Yellow hits pretty much constantly. Orange hits quite often. But throwing a dash into that Exilus slot for the increased zoom is going to help these just so much more. Unless you're lucky enough to get a Riven, in which case, good for you. I do not know where mine went. I'm pretty sure I had one. 90% sure I had one. May have just been borrowing it. I do not know. And as for the people who have repetitively told me, strangely enough, since Friday when he turned up with this, that this has been available since Saturday of last week because it's in... Baro turned up with all of his items and it was in there. It wasn't. Because I went to see Baro and strangely enough, it wasn't there. But don't worry, it is now, at least till Sunday. If you have missed him this week, don't worry. Everything he brings is on a cycle for one mod, which he will never bring. Everything else he will. So he will bring these relics back at some point. Or you can hit up the trading chat and see if somebody wants to run a mission to open them or trade them for other relics. Or just wait, he will come back with these. I don't think it'll be too long because the relic he brings for the dual wielding Lex and Volt and the Ordinata do appear quite frequent. So I don't think it'll be too long before he brings this back. Making these kind of, I don't want to say an exclusive item for now, but it means this is one of the harder primes to get a hold of just because of how you get the relics to get them. Once you have the relics, however, the blueprint is the common drop, the link is the uncommon drop, and, well, the Magnus drops on so many other relics. You can just use them to form the Magnus, and then just get the relics from him to get those 2 parts from it. And it makes it so much easier. The Magnus Prime is not exclusive to him. The link and the blueprint are exclusive to the M5. Get the parts any other way, and the parts for the normal Magnus Primes, and you're pretty much laughing. You only need it for 2 pieces from the relic, and they are the common and uncommon drop to build what is quite possibly one of the better of primes recently, even though it doesn't increase the damage of the base Magnus Prime. It just gives you 2, which you could argue is technically twice the damage, because instead of having 1, you now have 2. But we're not going to go on about this any longer. We'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.